"I am my mother's lawyer," declares young girl to judge, exposing $1 million school fraud. The courtroom was packed, its silence louder than thunder. At the front stood a girl no older than 12, her tiny frame dwarfed by the massive oak podium. Her hands trembled, but her voice did not. With her hair tied back and her chin lifted high, she looked straight into the judge's eyes and declared, "Your Honor, I am my mother's lawyer today." A murmur spread through the room like ripples on a still lake. Her name was Elena Ruiz, a quiet, studious girl from a low-income neighborhood in Detroit. The daughter of Rosa Ruiz, a soft-spoken janitor who worked nights cleaning the same elite prep school Elena attended on scholarship. Rosa had kept her head down for years, always taking extra shifts to ensure her daughter could walk the same halls as the children of CEOs, doctors, and politicians. What no one knew, until today, was that Rosa had uncovered a secret. One she never meant for Elena to get involved in. It had all started 3 months earlier when Rosa came home with swollen eyes and torn gloves. She had been cleaning the headmaster's office late at night and accidentally overheard a conversation between the headmaster and a school administrator. Words like misuse of funds, fake student enrollments, and we'll cover it up hung in the air like smoke. Rosa, terrified but honest to the bone, had taken photos of documents they left behind and tried to report it to the school board. But instead of investigating, the board turned on her. They claimed she had stolen documents and trespassed. Rosa was fired within the week, and charges were filed. Elena watched as the woman who raised her on minimum wage and love was dragged into court like a criminal. The injustice ignited something in her, a fire too fierce for someone her age. While most kids her age were worried about math homework or school dances, Elena spent every free hour at the public library, poring over law books and courtroom videos. She begged a retired public defender, Mr. Thompson, who lived on their block, to teach her what he could. He gave her stacks of his old case files and coached her through trial basics. She wrote everything down in a battered blue notebook she carried everywhere. On the first day of the hearing, the Ruiz family's public defender didn't show. He had taken a higher profile case last minute. Panic filled Rosa's eyes. But before she could break down, Elena stood up and whispered, "I'll do it." "No, Mija, they won't let you," Rosa protested, but the judge, curious and visibly moved by Elena's determination, allowed her to speak, as a witness, not an attorney. What happened next, however, would change everything. Elena took the stand. At first, her voice quivered. She stumbled over legal terms. The opposing attorney smirked. But then she pulled out her notebook and opened it to a page titled "Truth Matters." "I'm not a lawyer," she said, "but I know what happened to my mother is wrong. I have proof that she didn't steal anything. She protected something big, and now people want to punish her because it's easier than telling the truth." She reached into her backpack and held up copies of the documents her mother had photographed, proof of falsified enrollment numbers, fake student IDs, and internal memos showing over $1.2 million siphoned from government grants meant for low-income programs. The courtroom erupted. Cameras flashed. Reporters scribbled furiously. The judge called for silence. "Where did you get these?" the prosecutor demanded. "My mother took them before they were shredded," Elena answered. "She didn't know what to do, so she brought them home. I helped organize them. I checked every name. Half the students don't even exist." An official investigation was launched immediately. The school board's attorney tried to object, but the judge allowed the documents to be entered into the record. What followed was a whirlwind. Auditors confirmed Elena's claims. 2 senior administrators resigned within a week. The headmaster was placed on leave and later indicted. But amidst the chaos, what people remembered most was Elena standing tall, protecting her mother with a courage that stunned even veteran lawyers. Word of the young lawyer spread like wildfire. Local news covered it first. Then came national interviews, podcast invitations, even a scholarship offer from a prestigious law school. Rosa was cleared of all charges. She was offered her job back, but she declined. Instead, she accepted a new position with a nonprofit dedicated to helping whistleblowers and low-income school staff. And Elena? She returned to class the following week as if nothing had happened, though everything had changed. Her classmates no longer whispered about her second-hand shoes or her mother's janitor's uniform. Now, they looked at her with awe. Respect. One even asked if she could help their mom fight a landlord case. Months passed, but Elena's story never faded. At a charity gala hosted in her honor, she took the stage, nervously clutching her blue notebook. The room fell silent again, just like that day in court. "I didn't stand up because I wanted to be famous," she said. "I stood up because someone had to. My mother always taught me that silence helps the wrong side. So, I spoke. And I'd do it again. For her. For anyone who's been told their voice doesn't matter." There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Later that night, Rosa hugged her daughter tightly and whispered, "I thought I was raising a good student. Turns out, I was raising a warrior." That moment, more than any headline or honor, was what stayed with Elena. Not the applause. Not the interviews. Just her mother's arms around her, the scent of lavender soap and strength, and the unshakable knowledge that telling the truth, no matter how small you are, can change the world. In a time where injustice often hides behind power and silence, a young girl's voice pierced through with clarity and conviction. Elena proved that heroes don't always wear suits or capes. Sometimes, they wear backpacks, carry notebooks, and walk beside the people they love, ready to stand up when it matters most. And in doing so, they remind the world, bravery isn't about age, it's about heart.